Hello everybody, welcome back to my movie review series. Today we'll be discussing We Need to Talk About Kevin. This movie I just finished watching. I'll do a quick review before going into work. But you know how we do it. I'll give you my overall impressions and grade. Once I've given you the grade after reading the logistics as provided by Google. If you have not seen the movie and would like to, you're going to shut off the video because there will be spoiler alerts. We'll be discussing the plot synopsis and any character development and any similar movies or major themes. So, We Need to Talk About Kevin was released in 2011. It is rated R as a horror/mystery film. It has a runtime for 1 hour and 52 minutes. 7.5 out of 10 on IMDb, 75% liked it on Rotten Tomatoes, and 68% on Metacritic. It says, Ava Kachadorian, played by Tilda Swinton, is a travel writer-publisher who gives up her beloved freedom and bohemian lifestyle to have a child with her husband Franklin, played by John C. Reilly. Pregnancy does not seem to agree with Ava, but what's worse, when she gives birth to a baby boy named Kevin, she can't seem to bond with him. When Kevin grows from a fussy, demanding toddler, played by Rocky Dewar, into a sociopathic teen, played by Ezra Miller, Ava is forced to deal with the aftermath of her son's horrific act. Did a whopping $10.8 million at the box office, and it was an independent film. So I had seen this one in college time frame, but I remember the gist of the movie, but really not nearly as in depth as I do when I do movie reviews. But I remember a couple of friends I had at the time were really into it. It was they thought it was a really good psychological thriller. So it was kind of really hyped up the first time I watched it, which I thought was decent for a horror/thriller. But I thought it. On the second time watching it back, I wouldn't like it at all, or it would just be overhyped. But watching it back with a Morgan, looking at it to do a review as opposed to just having your friends hype it up really bad or a lot. Because typically, if something gets hyped up really, really big, and then it's just you feel like you have to love it, it has to be the sickest thing ever. And so there was a lot of hype then, but now just rewatching it back, I still thoroughly enjoyed it. And so the movie opens up. You have Ava. And she is you have a couple scenes of just seeing this window to their bedroom, which comes in later. She's at the Spanish festival where they throw all of the tomatoes and just paint everything with red. And so red is a big theme throughout the movie. After that scene, you really have pre-incident and post-incident timelines converging into one, and it resolves pretty much at the very end. It resolves the entire timeline, but you don't get to the actual incident until probably about 15 minutes, 20 minutes left in the movie. And so you have two concurrent timelines, and you're switching the timelines pretty regularly throughout the entire movie. And so after that, she is living in a small kind of rundown house. She wakes up, and it's very, the tone and cinematography is very just building kind of ominous tones and just kind of giving it an eerie feel to the entire presentation. But she wakes up, and someone has thrown a bunch of red paint all over her house, and she's going to apply for jobs. She goes into this, just some sort of office type of job. She meets a woman named Wanda. Wanda's if you can type and file, you can have the job. So Ava's excited to get the job. She walks back outside, and two ladies walk past her and say, oh, it looks like you're having a nice day, and one of them slaps her really hard or hits her really hard in the face. Someone runs over and is do you want to report this? And she's like, no, I deserved it. It was my fault. And so then you get, even pretty early on in the movie, it's it's pretty easy to, especially in 2024 with all the school shootings and stuff, it's pretty easy to see what the big incident's going to be. So it's not much suspense on that. But I did think the characterization development just between Ava and Kevin were strong, again, in terms of what the movie was developed into. A little bit of screaming. There's a bunch of scenes when Kevin is a baby and he won't stop screaming, and she literally goes right by a construction jackhammer just to try to drown out the sound of Kevin screaming, and he's a very defiant child. And so again, you're always slipping back and forth between her and her original life when she's married to Franklin. I'm not going to try to pronounce their last name or continuously say it, but they have, Kevin is always throwing his food as a baby. He goes to the doctor and they check him out, and he's just nonverbal, but he's the doctor's he's hearing everything's fine, he's just not talking. And so, just again developing the ominous, outcast or weird psychopath type of characterization. And so you get a couple when Ava is now working with Wanda. There's a dude named Colin that starts to come on to Ava throughout the movie. There's a scene later in it when they're at an office party and Colin's trying to make romantic approaches to Ava, and she doesn't want to dance with him at a Christmas party. And Colin kind of like leans in and is like, who would want you now, you stuck up bitch, after what has happened? And so Ava's, again, her characterization is just this mother throughout the entire movie trying to deal with being a mother, raising a child, and the implications of the child's actions. And so you have a bunch of other scenes. Again, Kevin, it's kind of three age groups. Kevin as as an infant baby, Kevin as like a young toddler, and then Kevin as the teenager. And so in the toddler phase, Ava's put up a bunch of maps about different countries she would like to visit or just explore or look into, and Kevin comes in. This entire time he's not bonded with Ava pretty much at all, and she's had several scenes where she's very clearly in distress of she's not happy about having a kid. And so Kevin goes into her room where she's setting up for travel adventures, and he kind of just sprays it all with a bunch of red paint and kind of ruins everything. So Ava gets mad, and she stomps on the water gun, and is just absolutely distraught. And so Kevin has some sort of relationship, or at least a better relationship or bonding with his father, Franklin. That's just kind of what happens. The next kind of big development is Kevin can now speak a little bit. He's still in diapers, and he purposely poops his pants to make his mom have to change his diaper just to be a rebel. And so after Kevin does that, Ava gets angry and throws him and breaks his arm. And so at this point in the movie, you've also had some other scenes where Ava is visiting Kevin in jail post-incident, and he has this scar on his arm, and Ava's like, Kevin, do you remember when you got that? And then you get back to the scene where he poops his pants, and she throws him, breaks his arm. And then it was an interesting dynamic, I thought, in the characterization, because 1 second, I'm going to call for work. Well, that's exciting. So I just got off with my work, and I got called off today. So now I literally have a full-time job. Every minute that I'm not working on my job, I'm still working to produce all of this content. So I basically have two. And I'm just at a point where I literally have employment, but I don't get the hours I need to sustain $2,000 a month, literally. So it's just I don't know how you survive in this country. I really, really don't. But anyway, back to the movie review. Sorry for the interruption. Good God, I get called off again, man. 7 years after the most important scientific discovery ever, proven done on your desk, and I'm literally over here truly worried about $2,000 to $3,000 a month, literally. And you guys just won't give me a time frame within 5 years. I need to pay myself $50,000 a year and be comfortable as all get out. But that will never happen. Brad's not allowed to live. So I forget exactly where I was at in the movie, so I'm just going to try to pick back up, start with just some random scenes. And so, I guess when Ava breaks Kevin's arm, when Franklin asks what's happened, Kevin, he was getting 2 to 3 years old, lies to his father about what happened, and kind of he was always eyeing his mom I have this leverage on you, or just, again, developing more of his sadistic type of personality. And so then Ava gets Kevin, there's a little bit of nudity. A couple times Kevin walks in on Ava giving Franklin some head, and then doing some sex. And so those are just some other kind of just strange, eerie scenes in the movie. But regardless, then rather quickly Ava gets pregnant again when Kevin is still a toddler. And so he meets his baby sister Celia, and kind of splashes water on her face right when she's born, and kind of just irritating and just being this selfish, sadistic sociopath type of characterization. And basically after that, I just can't. I'm literally over here man, I just lost another shift. But I for real though, because I don't have access to court, I don't have any social, I don't have any networks, and I just need $2,000 to $3,000 a month, and that is it. And that is again, nothing lavish, nothing extravagant, just basic financial stability, which I have never had in my entire life, ever. And I've worked all day, every day for a decade to create an opportunity for myself. whatever, what are you gonna do? But regardless, I'm all thrown off again now. But, so regardless, he meets his baby sister, and now kind of the rest of the movie is Kevin as probably 16-year-old, 17-year-old maybe, I think like 15 or 16, and his younger sister being like 4 to 5 years old. And so Kevin, when he's young, his father Franklin gives him like a toy bow and arrow, and as he gets older throughout the years, he gets a real bow and arrow that's just like not a compound, just I guess a simple bow, I guess. Don't know the terminology, but he's now a pretty good archer. And so you have some other more scenes to post-incident when Ava's arriving at the school and people are all crying, and when Ava initially learns that there's some incident happening at a school and she's losing her job at the travel writing bureaucracy or place that she works. And so regardless, I literally have a full-time job and I want hours and I want to work, and then I just still can't. I still can't. There is no way to figure out this life in America. It doesn't exist. Anyway, just keep it moving. Do the best you can. Worry about the things you can control, and you can't do anything about the ones you can't. But regardless, Celia gets a little hamster or a gerbil called Snuffles, and again, you don't really get an explicit "this was what happened," but it's heavily implied. Ava and Kevin or Franklin are looking for Mr. Snuffles. They kind of laugh and saying that Mr. Snuffles went to the big pet store in heaven. And then the next morning, the sink is clogged, and so it's very heavily implied that Kevin has killed the gerbil by putting him in the sink disposal. And so again, another scene where Kevin is outside shooting bows and arrows, and Ava's inside. And when Kevin was a real young child, he had shot one of the bows and arrows, kind of like in an ominous scene. He's missing the target, and he shoots it perfectly. And, like, his mom's behind the window, and he hits it with the suction cup arrow. And so, regardless, that is what occurs there. And now flash forward, he's back outside, and the gerbil's in the drain. She has to pour out the just drain cleaner to clear up the clog. And so it has another explicit scene where they show Ava putting the cleaner back and locking the cabinet. The next kind of scene you get is they're at the hospital. Ava and Franklin are distraught, and you learn that Celia had gotten the drain on her, like the drain cleaner on her eyeball, and she now needs a glass eye for the rest of her life. And so, I'm worried about money, which I'm worried about money literally constantly all day, because there's no way out. There's no step forward. If you don't have a degree, you can go to school. I already have the degrees. They won't give them to me. I have all of these skill sets. I can have a career in 1 minute. But nobody will give me a time frame. And now all you do is worry about money all day, every day, and there's no path forward. There is no step I can take to improve my life. I literally have a full-time job that I'm happy to work, and I don't get hours now. Awesome. Lovely. I love being an American. There was so much freedom. There was so much decency. There are so many good human beings in this country. Fuck no. Regardless, getting to the end of the resolution of the movie, Kevin, in one of the earlier scenes when you see a bunch of people panicking around a school, you see these big yellow bike locks. And so Kevin gets his package in the mail. His mother opens it up and it's like, what are these for? And he was like, I'm going to make a bundle selling these at school for people with bikes. And so now you have the kind of the premonition, and if you're watching even semi-closely, you know exactly what the bike locks are before anything happens. But then regardless, that's then when you get to the actual resolution or to the actual event. And so basically, they don't really, it's not like super graphic or anything, but he just goes into the school and shoots a bunch of the kids with bows and arrows and kills a bunch of them. And so you have kind of the way it plays out is Ava's at her job, and then one of her secretaries or co-workers rushes in and is like, doesn't your son go to Gladstone High School maybe, but whatever the high school is, and she kind of rushes out there, and then she gets to the school, and they're cutting off the yellow bike locks, and Kevin walks up with his hands up, and then they arrest him. And so he gets taken to jail, and again, it's not like first-person dialogue, again, it's kind of like background music, and you're just putting the pieces together. Then Ava's obviously visibly distraught, and then she goes home, after again just clearly losing her son, to life in prison or whatever. And it was just like, Franklin and Celia, where are you guys? And then you get again another premonition scene from like the very opening scene. You see like it's like a nighttime bedroom window with like the window open and the shades kind of pulled to the side. And so and then so she goes and walks up, and that scene resolves, and she looks outside in the backyard, and both Celia had been murdered with bows and arrows, as well as Franklin the dad. So basically, Kevin just killed his father and his sister, and then a bunch of people at school. And so again, the dynamic I really think is interesting for like a psychological thriller throughout the movie with Ava and Kevin. Again, like I said at the beginning, I thought it was just going to be, because I remember the overall gist of the movie from watching it the first time, not really like having a strong opinion one way or the other. But I thought there was more depth to the characterization than I thought would be on the second time through. And so that is, you get to the resolution of the movie is Ava's visiting Kevin in prison. It's now been 2 years after the incident, and Ava's like, it's been 2 years, you manipulate the legal system well, you got tried as a minor, and you said you were hopped up on Prozac or, not in your right mind. And then she was like, but just please give me a reason as to why you did this. And I've heard the exact line that Kevin is more or less to the effect of, I used to think I know, but I don't really know anymore. Which I actually think is a realistic characterization for all of these in real life. Like as a movie, it's decent for the characterization, but in real life, it's always just some insecure person that thinks the world owes something to them or blah blah blah, and then they just go take out violence on others because they're profoundly immature. And so it's not actually like really interesting. Like a lot of people like murder dramas, like Dateline and stuff like that, and it's never interesting or unique. It's just a primitive person resorting to violence. And so for that's real life. The movie was decently interesting, but I thought that realization or character development of Kevin being like, even going from 15, 16 to about 18 years of age, going like a lot of edgy teenagers, the world's out to get me, blah blah blah, and it's just like not really. And so I thought it was accurate and interesting how the characterization resolved for Kevin. And so overall, well, I guess I didn't even give you my grade, so that was a mistake on my end. But I'll give this one, I'll give it a B. I'll give it a solid B. I found it entertaining. I thought it'd be more in the B- C+ range. Because like I said, I don't remember what the big incident was, but I did think the characterizations and relationships throughout the movie were pretty strong, or at least interesting for a psychological thriller. So overall B. I forgot to put that at the beginning, so I'm sure this video will get 2 clicks for 4 seconds, so no one really cares anyway. But man, now that I literally have a job hilariously below my pay grade, I actively want to work. I don't need a ton of hours, but I just need the hours that they said guaranteed at least 30 hours a week. And now my schedule says, each shift that it's not busy, you get sent home 30 minutes to an hour early. Now I just lost a 6-hour shift. And next week I'm only scheduled for 26 and a half hours. And so I'm completely willing to work. I want to work because I can still do all of my YouTube content outside of regular employment. I want to be completely financially independent from anybody else. And I just need a job that has decent pay and hours. That's it. And I still can't get that. And I'm actively trying. So, I don't know, but I lost a shift. Literally, I was in my work pants, going to do this review and then go into work. But now I don't get to do that. So that really freaking stinks, kid. Because now I'm getting financially stressed. But I'm always financially stressed because I don't have access to core social structures or networking. And that is the only way to get employment or collect property. But thank you for watching my movie review of We Need to Talk About Kevin, and I will see you on the next one.